searching the dark side of the mountain. Through my bones and hair and blood, words rise and cold snatched from my mouth to sink them into the cold black mud.
Welcome everybody, welcome to ZealZaddy. That was my bad, I did not turn on the mic. So mics were cold and I went through the whole open without mics. Let me repair that at this very moment. I'm Scott, my pronouns are he, him, and you are on ZealZaddy. You can follow us everywhere at ZealZaddy or at ZealZaddy RPG on TikTok. I am working on my next character expose, I guess, for this game, which will be dropping later in the week. This episode is titled "What Remains Is Ash." You can check out our D&D supplements on our Cypher System supplements on DriveThruRPG. We have a new Cypher supplement coming this week. It is going to be pay what you want, and then we have a really big one coming right after that. It'll probably be more than 100 pages, I think. You can use the clip command, which is our favorite command around here. It's !clip to save any kind of the last 30 seconds or 40 seconds. I think it's 30 seconds, but it may be 40. And it is great for saving little clips and being able to put into memorialize excellent moments. The opening and closing music was by OBP Musical. It was sung by Melody McClellan and composed by Nico Rhodes. Two amazing people that I love very much. They do amazing work for us. Old Gods of Appalachia, the RPG, was by Monte Cook Games and based on the podcast of the same name by DeepNerd Media. Old Gods of Appalachia is, of course, a horror campaign. I am getting tongue twisted tonight. A horror campaign that may contain material not suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Let's bring everyone on. All right, we have a new player tonight. We were going to have two. The second one had a family emergency. We will see her next week. But we have added Father Bartimaeus. Did I say that right? Bartimaeus. Darn, I keep getting it wrong. Why don't we start with you then, Father?
Hello everybody. My name is Grimm. You can find me at empathic_Grimm on all socials. I am a game designer and game reviewer. I am here today to play Father Bartimaeus. Usually you'll see me on Wednesdays, but I'm here for a special trip this time. Yeah. Keep an eye out. I have an ash can going up on itch.io Empathic Grimm Games for a solo RPG coming out probably at the end of next month. It might be a little bit later than that. I am getting married, so everything's kind of in flux.
We'll let it slide for that. All right, Walter.
Evening, everyone. My name is Robby Weiss. I am a one-time podcaster for the Dungeon Initiative podcast, a 5e comedy-centric podcast back in the day. That's how I got to meet all of these wonderful people. And nowadays, I just enjoy playing as much as possible and supporting everybody that I can in the TTRPG verse. And I'll be playing Walter Gwynn and the beekeeper. Oh goodness, what was my word? Perceptive beekeeper sage who masters the swarm.
Yes. All right, Tegan.
Hey yo. So I am played by Kayla, who also has this accent but has worked really hard not to have. And is now back in it. You can find me on Twitter at JustThinkingK. In my bio, there's a link to everything else if you want to escape the dumpster fire that is Twitter for Hive, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Instagram, whatever else you may have. You may also recognize me as the general manager for Underground Oracle Publishing. And some of the things we do, like Harrow the Blighted Plain, which is a Kickstarter that we finished with that setting coming out for Cypher. You may also have heard rumblings of Wild Space, which is the next setting that we're doing, which is more space-centric, obviously. If you enjoyed DuckTales, the Goofy Movie, Treasure Planet, the Wild Space will be your jam. um, we also have Cypher shorts coming out all the time. I'm going to spoil a little bit, and Jess can murder me later if I'm not supposed to say it yet, but we have some post-apocalyptic shorts coming out soon.
You
People
can
want
say
to
it because
play.
I'm getting the email, so I know they're saying it's okay.
Okay, I don't get them. I give the blurb to Jess, and then Jess sends it out. So like I don't know what I'm supposed to say yet. And a little preview for at least mine, because we each try to write one short for the collection. Um, you might know that I like to do weird things with the shorts I write, like a cultist short, but you're the cultist defending. Well, my first post-apocalyptic one is dinosaur disasters, but you're the dinosaurs trying to survive after insert disaster here. Pick your poison of asteroid or volcano.
That all sounds terrible if you're a dinosaur. None of it went well.
No.
All right, Professor Hayes.
Yep. I am Brandon Hall. I'm often a GM, excited to play in a game here. You'll often find me volunteering and helping out with Monte Cook Games at various conventions here that they do in the U.S. I'm playing Dr. Erwin Hayes, the professor of linguistics, who is a speaker who speaks in tongues.
All right, so hold on one moment. I have to get to some notes I got. Well, welcome back, family. Fire and smoke are considered some of the most powerful tools of sacrifice. Smoke obfuscates any call-in, even powerful enough to quell the busyness of the bees. Fire, though, well, fire's another thing altogether. Burning calls agents of green or black, beckoning spirits to the calling. Its use in sacrifice can shout appreciation or aggravation to the sky, to the forest, or to the beasts. It can burn the flesh and scorch the soul until the sacrifice is met, of course. But again, let's not get ahead of ourselves. When last we left, we were following Walt Winnan, tracking some footprints through the woods that disappeared when they hit the rocky parts of the ground. But there was definitely somebody out in the wood line by the trees. That left an unsettling feeling in him as he went back and kept a watch. The night, though, went on uneventful. You found yourself asleep by the window eventually. And there are a couple of bees buzzing about your beard, crawling hither and thither, in and through, bringing comfort, if nothing else, to someone such as yourself. No comfort for anyone else you know of, though. You do feel a little hungover, maybe. That mead you were having. Yeah, you definitely feel that. It's a disconcerting feeling. You have not been you have not imbibed so much that it left you with that feeling in quite a while.
Yeah, there's a reason I don't hit the old what I call mead shine very often, the extra hard stuff.
Yeah, the second batch, as Tangy pointed out last episode. The bees, though, are buzzing about happily, and you feel like the morning sun is bringing some much-needed warmth and comfort to a cool day out. It is winter. It is still, in January, so it is cold, but It is not the coldest winter you have had. There is no snow on the ground at the moment. And it's hovering above the freezing point anyway. It's not even like it's freezing up the creek or nothing. The creek, though, runs right past your property. The water, of course, is good. The bees love that. But it does run and winds its way past where the revival tent is set up. And inside that revival tent, there is a father looking for a child. A father of the cloth, though, not a father of the family kind.
Beatrice, where are you? Child, I know I told you we were supposed to be leaving soon. We're disembarking in this town. Beatrice!
You don't see her nowhere. She is not in the cart you were on. But the sun has come up, so who knows where a child of her age would be.
Blessed Mary, Mother of God, give me assistance in this time of need. Okay, child. As I throw open the door to the cart and
The sun is just cracking the light. The sun is just cracking the horizon, and you see activity beginning. And you see over by the cage, a hunk of meat has just been thrown in with the beast. That's all they call it. They don't even have a name for it. And she is sitting over there, and her head bobs like she's tired.
Okay. At least I found her. Okay.
And she leans her head against the cage with the beast in it, just right up under the bar. And a paw comes over out the bar and onto the top of her head and just sits on it. And you can see the thing kind of like gnawing at the bars, like, oh, if I could get in there.
You chose to take this on, Bartimaeus. This was your decision. It's fine. It's fine. I go up, and Father Bartimaeus is a taller man. He's about 6'1", fairly broad, dressed in a long black priest cassock. He has a tab collar, which I don't have right now, but he has a tab collar on, and he has a similar black overstool that is covering him for that as he makes his way over, and watching the tiger, because he knows that it's a tiger, watching the tiger carefully kind of slips his ward out from underneath the tiger's clasp without it deciding to put the claws into right.
It snaps its jaws wide, and its claw goes as far as it can go out when you go and pull her, and its paw goes back down on her, and then she slides down onto the ground.
There we go. Yep. I know you're a ferocious creature. I know you're upset. I would be too.
She is asleep, even as you drag her out from under.
I just lift her up. And
you notice
lean her against my
odor
shoulder
about her that you have not smelled before. It is definitely the odor of spirits.
Oh, child, what have you been messing with this time? I reach into... I go back to the cart and get all of the stuff together, including a wooden box that is about a foot and a quarter long, about 8 inches deep, and it's of stained cedar wood. I open it up, take out a little bit of blessed oils, put a little bit of my thumb and just do a quick right on her forehead.
All right. Her head bobs to the side.
Yeah, I know. Come on, child.
And her eyes crack just a sliver. We're going.
Yeah, we're leaving the revival. We've made it to Guilty Hole.
Kayla, I'm ready.
Yeah, I know you're ready.
And she's wobbling as she tries to stand, and
yeah,
you've been there though.
Yeah. I make sure we have all our stuff together. I stack her stuff with my stuff, strap it all together, put it over my shoulder, and scoop her up.
And when you go down the stairs, the pastor comes. Where y'all going? You're leaving the revival?
I told you where I was going to be departing.
Well, hold on one moment. Let me make sure that we got all of our billings right. Give me a second. I got to go make sure I have an understanding of where the money sits.
Okay, so
on, you
here's
can
what I'm
follow
going
me,
to do
right?
because I am done with this. With this man, I am done with this man. So I am going to use one of my fantastic abilities as a speaker, which is... Where did you go? I just had you. Which is Hear Me Now.
All right.
So basically, I spend 2 intellect points, and I project confidence and understanding and knowledge in such a demeanor that people are automatically understand them someone important, accomplishment of authority. When I speak, people basically listen, understand me, and I can basically tell them, hey, in this case, hey, we're done. The books are right. You know they're right. Because I am done with this man.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for your service to the revival. You of course are of the wrong persuasion there. You know, you're the cloth man of the cloth kind of thing is kind of old fashioned, you know, and not really appropriate for Americas, you know, better for more like Europe and whatnot, Italy perhaps. But you have not been
Good day.
and you close the door on him and you head out with the girl in tow.
Yep.
As you walk, it's kind of like taking a dog for a walk on a leash and they lay down.
Again, I actually have her
You just keep her.
in my
Okay.
other arm. We're leaving the revival. I'm done with this place.
You head on out and you start hearing as you're heading out the singing coming from the revival as the choral group, the chorus starts warming up, trying to get their voices right. You hear a lot of the sounds of preparation for a day ahead.
Only godly thing about this place is the music they make.
And you pass the snow cone stand that is empty because there is no snow. Sad. That is a sad moment, actually. Darn, no snow. You head over to the church. You're going to which one? The Presbyterian church or the Methodist?
I pull out a book, flip it open, check my notes. It is the Presbyterian church.
Yeah. Adeline Rose.
Adeline Rose was the woman who called for an exorcist.
All right. It'll take you a bit of time to get over there. In the meantime, back at the Love Shack. Taking your eyes finally open after busy proceedings. We'll just leave it at that. And there is the smell of some food being cooked, which is, of course, always on the approved list. And you were laying there alone.
I'm just gonna like slowly close my eyes again and take stock and be like, okay, I am very much without protective garb. I am very much not in my bed. I very much drank a lot of things last night. Vaguely remember. And she's just gonna like try like process everything and be like, if I just stay laying here with my eyes closed, it'll be fine. It will figure itself out, right? It's totally gonna just figure itself out.
That's how everything works.
Yeah, I just close my eyes. It's fine.
When you eventually open your eyes, you realize in this room there is some taxidermy. There is a weasel up on a desk that is just looking right at you. On the walls, there is a huge buck with its horns just everywhere, and there are clothing hanging off the the antlers. And there are oddly some boomers, which most people do not do taxidermy on boomers, but there are some boomers that have been modified where they have little antlers of their own. And they look like they're playing around a tree, and one of them's got its horn stuck in the bark.
Can I spot all of my articles of clothing that I need
Yes,
together?
most of them are on those deer antler prongs.
Am I alone in the room? Yeah.
When you look around, you realize you are alone in the room.
Okay, so being alone in the room and knowing that my clothing is out of reach, I am going to use my draw item ability, and a loose object within short range that I can carry in one hand is drawn to my free hand. I'm gonna start with my pants. Let's start with my pants.
And your pants kind of fall to the ground and slide along the floor and up the edge of the bed and follows every contour till it arrives at your hands.
I'm just gonna start with that, and then I'm half covered, and I'll use that to really move about the room to get the rest of the clothing as quickly as possible.
All right. You get all your stuff back on together. The light is, of course, what woke you up coming through the window. It's kind of a weird room, but the door is open to the rest of the house.
I think for half a second, Tegan is like, maybe maybe I should go out the window. Is that one of those situations? And thinks about it for a second and is like, and goes out slowly, out the bedroom door, ready to Homer Simpson back into it if she needs to.
You head out the door and you remember seeing the trophy case, which has oddly that bowling pin and trophies and things like that. More taxidermy, of course. And then you hear a door open. And footsteps come around the corner. And you see Jennifer. She is covered in red, like somebody just has burst a body of blood all over her. And she has a paintbrush in her hand, though. Oh, you're up.
Yeah.
Y'all get going now. I'll see you around town, though, right? This is so awkward, ain't it?
A little bit, yeah. I'm putting my vest on. But yeah, I mean, we're both gonna see each other around town. It's not like, I'm gonna disappear or anything. I'm going to the mine later.
You are. Oh, that's right, you are. And she takes some paper and puts it on the table and puts the brush down. I got some furniture I'm working on from Morgantown. I've been trying to get it for a while and get it. I did some repairs on it. Miss Crandall, if you ever need to get furniture repairs, she got some of the best wood you'll ever find. I have a question for you though.
Yeah.
You ever made explosives?
She has this look on her face that's like, do I really want to answer this question of someone who owns the mine?
It's all right. It's all right. We blow things up in the mine all the time.
Yes. Though I don't make TNT, if that is what you're going for. I do, however, make things that can be explosive under the right circumstances.
Well, why do you not make TNT? It's mighty explosive.
It is mighty explosive. It's also a good way to attract the attention of someone with a badge.
We as a mine are allowed to purchase TNT, and I gotta say I'm having a little trouble getting as much as I need, all the way from out of town.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to have someone that has those kinds of skills, that is available locally with that kind of knowledge.
I would say as long as the mine purchases the things I need to make it, I guess technically it's still legal if you're licensed to use it. I just can't mix it in the house and bring it down from the woods or anything.
But you could create it if I were to hire you to do that in the mine.
Oh yeah, things are easy to make go boom.
regardless of whether we use it in the mine, I'd be purchasing it in the mine, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. That sounds like an opportunity, and perhaps other arrangements could be being made at this very moment. And the door opens to the outside, to the front door, and you see Ambrosia Love kind of coming in. She looks like she's been drinking a bit all night, like everyone here and everyone else. And she looks at you sort of exasperated. She stands at the door and leaves it kind of open and just looks at you.
I'm gonna like finish buttoning my chest and then like go to walk past Jennifer and then like use putting my hat on as like a screen and like give her a quick kiss on the cheek and then just continue out the door. Like, I'm out of here. Bye.
And you head out, and as you're leaving, the door is closed, and you hear Ambrosia say to Jennifer, and Aaron Hull's going to make those small iron weights you wanted. He just needs to know how many. He would love to know in pounds or tens of pounds, whatever it is you think you might need it for. And then the door closes.
Well, that's weird.
You know that the person she's talking about, Aaron Hull, he is the only mechanic in town outside of yourself, and he is actually from a family of blacksmiths, so he's got kind of a shop that can handle multiple things.
I'm just gonna like make a note on my arm to go talk to him and then continue on trying to figure out my way back.
The name of his business is, of course, A. Hole's Mechanic Shop. And he is not a friendly person to hardly anybody. But he's happy to take your money if you ever have anything break down. And extra money when possible.
Yeah, I mean, but I could totally at least talk blacksmithing with him.
Sure. Sure enough, of course.
Do the walk of shame down the cliffside trail back to town.
The good thing is it's quite a long walk with nobody to see you. And back at the church, Professor Hayes is waking up in among the others that have been there, and you can tell there is a lot of hangovers happening even in the church of all places.
Oh, everyone's groaning. Oh.
Yeah, moans everywhere. And you hear a pan being banged with another pan. Come on, folks, you got to get over the hangover. Food's on the table right now. If you ain't here in 5, it will not be here in 10. And some people get up. Some of them just don't move. They pull covers over and whatnot.
More for me. Get up and head to the table.
You head out of the room where everyone's sleeping, and as you're coming out, you see the door to the dining hall. Call it a dining hall. It's really just a room with a table and some chairs. Open, and a man of the Catholic cloth and a young girl over his shoulder walk in, and you are the only one sitting there at the moment.
Wrong church, buddy.
No, I believe that this is the Pastor Rose does run this house of God, correct?
Oh, Adeline?
Yes, Adeline Rose.
Yeah, she does. She does. Oh.
Perfect. I dump this young child into the chair next to you.
Okay. Did she have too much to drink last night?
I would not be shocked if this child was able to find her hands onto some alcohol she knew she wasn't supposed to drink. Anyways.
Heard about that kind of thing in these rural communities.
It's very rural. Yes, this she's also just a lazy lump in the morning, unfortunately, but aren't we all when we were that age? Now then, Beatrice? I know.
What?
I need you to stay here while I go speak to the pastor that called me here. Okay?
You got anywhere like soft to lay? Or only this table.
This is a Presbyterian church. There is nothing soft here.
I have food in front of me. Is that right?
Yeah.
Hey there, Beatrice, is it? You like this?
You
And
can
he
call-
picks up some.
It's Benny.
Whatever.
Only he calls me Beatrice, and I think he does it out of spite.
All right. Sorry, kid. I'll call you kid.
I think I'd rather Beatrice. Oh my God. Is every adult a jerk like this?
Yes. Yes. Unfortunately, when you get
Only the
older,
smart ones.
Well, withholding statement on that because this is a house of God.
In her eyes, as she talks, you kind of glaze over, and she sort of puts her head down to the table and goes to sleep right in front of y'all.
I'll keep an eye on her. You can go find Adeline.
I appreciate that. Father Bartimaeus Crowley, extending a hand.
He takes it. Dr. Erwin Hayes. Pleasure.
Pleasure. Doctor, what are you... No offense, you don't seem to be of the medical profession. What are you doing here?
I'm investigating this community. I'm spending some time away from the city.
Sabbatical.
Yes, exactly. Ignoring the fact that he's not a medical doctor.
Yeah. Doctor,
what brings you here?
I was... The Presbyterians don't have people to deal with the things that actually go bump in the night.
You know about things that go bump in the night, eh?
I am the church's answer to bumping them back.
Oh.
You see that there's actually on his collar. There's actually a silver cross on each side. That is, yeah.
And his hand goes across his chest. You can see he's like covering something that's probably underneath his vest. You can see the outline ever so slightly. And he says, well, it's a pleasure to meet you. Sure,
okay,
Adeline's
Doctor?
looking for you. Yeah, just...
You seem to have gotten very
Little.
nervous all of a sudden.
I'm a little balled up from last night, you see, so...
Oh, yes, this whole neo-pagan barleycorn.
Yes, but mostly it's drinking. To be clear.
To be fair, back when it was the pagans, it was mostly for drinking as well.
You're the expert.
Yes, but no, where might I find Pastor Rose?
You ain't seen her yet.
Beats me.
Fantastic.
Right.
If you please would keep an eye on Beatrice, I would deeply appreciate it.
Sure, will do.
Thank you.
Once you're out of eye shot, I'm gonna start tapping Beatrice, like with my elbow, like
And
Beatrice, kid.
What? Why are you poking me?
You got any money on you, kid?
Yeah, I got a few dollars. I got a little change, and she reaches in her pocket and she kind of just dumps it on the table, and there's some coins there, maybe 64 cents or something, and she goes, is that enough for me to sleep?
That'll do. Get some rest. I'll watch this for you. So he takes it, puts it in his pocket.
And then other people start to come in after that moment, and you have your food in front, you get to eat it. Back at the Gwinnen residence, your morning goes along uneventful. And when you go to check your bees, they seem to be acting normal again. They were acting a little bit strange yesterday. You knew that. But then there was the boom, or whatever it was, the ground shake. And that might have been what had spooked them. You've always known that they can feel things coming before they arrive, especially things of the world, weather, rain, dark, whatever.
Better than your local meteorologist, that's for damn sure.
Oh yeah. And while you're out there, though, you are starting to come back, and the bees on you, they move to the back, and you realize there's a bee kind of in your beard. You can't see it, of course. But you feel it.
So there's a bee that's in the front, and the other ones are kind of going away from it?
Yes.
Well, instinctively, I just kind of try and get it out onto my hand so I can take a look at her.
And when you do, you realize it is not actually a bee. It is a fly.
What are you doing here? Am I able to tell what kind of fly it is?
You are able to tell that it is a... hold on. I got to get the right name. I have a lot of notes for this session. I got to going through all of them trying to find the right one. It is a robber fly.
A robber fly.
And you do know that they will kill and eat bees.
In finding that, I kind of think instinctively looking for some kind of an outbreak of them or a...
You ain't seen any here in a long time.
I think it's probably a good idea to really give my bees a good inspecting, and I just instinctively squeeze and squash it, the robber fly in my hand.
Yeah.
I guess, does anything weird happen when I squash the thing?
Nope. Just
Good.
dead.
That's great. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
I think I should probably go maybe tear apart the hive a little bit. It might make those ladies a little bit nervous, but just want to make sure there's nothing else kind of spooking them or trying to get in there.
All right. Do you don the full garb, or do you just go and just do it without garb? You don't.
I just do it without.
Yeah. You only use garb when you're dealing with a new hive, I assume, or something like that.
Yeah, that suit back there gathers quite a bit of dust.
Yeah. So you go through the hive, you take it apart. They're enjoying their honey to keep them going through the winter. The hive is normal. It's in good shape, healthy.
That's good. That's how I like to see it, ladies. And I put the hive back together, and while I'm out in the yard and on the property, I kind of get a hankering to look at those tracks one more time, see if I can see if anything's different about them. If maybe there's more of them, or
no, it looks like two sets. They look like they come out here to the edge of the wood line, and they did not even walk around much. They stood in one spot, and you can tell by the facing of the prints that they stood looking out across the fields and potentially at your house, which is right out, in direct sight. And then they turned and went back. There is no meandering about or nothing like that. It seemed purposeful to go here and then leave.
that makes me mighty uneasy. I think maybe I'll entertain the idea of seeing where these tracks lead to a little bit. And I follow them into the woods.
All right. So you follow them into the woods, and you realize they are heading straight back to town.
Is it a meandering path, or is it straightforward?
It is pretty direct, although the path to where they were, as you start looking around and investigating this, you realize the path to the spot they went to was meandering, but the ones back toward town were pretty straight.
So they were trying to keep out of sight. Did their path follow the same path as Professor Hayes and myself?
No.
Interesting. Well, am I able to tell if the tracks? I'm able to tell how old they are. I'm trying to determine whether or not they were there while the professor and I were there, or if it was in between then and when I went to bed.
Do you have any kind of skills for tracking and whatnot?
I've got. I am trained in finding or noticing small details.
All right. Well, it has been a cold, dry night, very little wind, so the tracks seem to be mostly undamaged wherever they're available. They are not available in a lot of places where they go over harder ground or over just grass and whatnot. But it seemed to as you are studying the path, they continued along the wood line, stopping at different people's homes or lands and overlooking and then moving on, over finding other homes, and it's like they were using the wood line to conceal themselves while they meandered about looking for something. And then they stopped at yours, did the same thing, and then they went straight back to town. It looks like it happened. I mean, you had seen something out there that spooked the deer. It seemed to have been from last night.
All right. Well, I think the best course of action at this point is to probably go back into town and go talk to, I believe his name was JT. Is that correct?
From the tap
Bartender.
room?
Yep.
Yeah.
seems
TJ.
to have-
It's TJ, not JT.
TJ. No, got it.
TJ Booker.
I think I'd probably go back and talk to TJ and see if he's seen anything odd last night. Granted, he was a little sauced, but maybe not. But before I head back into town, I do take a stop back at my makeshift graves of my wife and daughter and do my daily ritual of telling them a good day, and we'll see them later.
All right. And you go through your ritual. You head on out toward the town. As you're coming towards the road that leads down to town, you see Tegan coming down off the road that leads up to the mine and the,
Hey there,
and the
Tegan.
Love Mansion.
Morning.
Morning. Maybe not so loud. Still a little,
You're looking a little
Off-kilter.
rough around the edges too. Things were a little fuzzy for me this morning too.
Oh yeah. Everybody did a lot of drinking. I think that I will probably do a little less of that tonight.
Oh yeah, my head was buzzing a little bit too.
Your head's always a buzzing.
Well, yeah, you got a point.
You want to stop by one of these places to get something to make us a little less guggling down this road here?
I was on my way down to TJ's. I was looking to get, I don't know about hair of the dog, but I had a couple of questions for him. And I'd kind of lean over and peer around, make sure nobody's watching. I think there's somebody been looking around the properties.
You think it's those two peckerwoods that were following y'all yesterday?
That's my sneaking suspicion, but I can't be safe for sure.
Well, I mean, it's better in pairs, and I need to do some measurements at TJ's anyways for his order. So I'll walk with you.
All right. How was your night? You look to be getting on pretty good with old Miss Love.
Yeah, I mean, there is a reason I am still walking back.
She kick you out?
Well, no, but I ain't gonna drive her car back to town.
Well, I wouldn't let you drive my car either if I had one.
She did let me drive her car.
Oh, she was definitely sauced then.
We were very, very much for.
Jeez, OP.
As you're walking down, you see that the remnants of the effigy are Still, there are a few embers kind of burning there. And it is sort of in the square. There are people who are just lying down drunk in different places, just sleeping on the ground, leaning against the walls. And then you see the ashes move, like you're right in the middle. And you see like a yellow amber color underneath.
Hagen's just gonna stop and be like, "You seen that too, right? I'm not still drunk."
Yeah. I'm scratching my eyes and.
Yeah, and something when you look kind of bumps, like it gets a little bigger or something, like a frog kind of moving. Boom. Who knows what it is though?
Hagen's gonna try and find a stick.
There's a
I
stick
mean, the
right,
fire might
there's a
still
stick
be
right
going.
there. There's
Yeah.
a stick right there.
A long stick, and it's just gonna like poke it, because maybe the fire, it didn't burn down the right way. I don't want the
Yeah.
town to get set on fire.
And you poke it, and it feels almost like it's hard but soft at the same time, like glass, but it gives a little. And then it bumps, it beats. It's like, boom.
I'm gonna like use the stick and gently get the ashes off so I can see what it is without touching it.
And when you do, it looks kind of like an unblemished, even in the fire, unscarred, gold yellow heart.
Okay, now I know I'm still drunk. That's a heart, right?
Yeah, I don't know if we should be poking around that thing. Are my bees doing anything?
I'm gonna get you some dice, which is a rarity in this game, I gotta say. For the GM. Damn, they give me that number. They are they have moved to the back of your hair, kind of. They're there, but they're not flying off or nothing.
But they're tucking in a little bit.
Yeah, and then it beats. Boom, boom. And Tegan, you get a bit of a headache. Like your headache just got a little worse, just for a moment. Like, oh.
In my various bits and bobs that just kind of collect in my pockets, would I be able to maybe use my crafting ciphers and artifacts ability to get something to contain it a little bit? So
Yeah, it looks like it'd fit in your hand, but you need something that isn't gonna burn you. So, you probably got a sack or something, a little poke here or there. Cloth
I could
one.
also probably take off my vest and just kind of like wrap this. I don't feel like we should leave it here for like someone to like. I don't want a youngin' or anything to like.
No, you're probably right, but as she's putting it away, I'm trained in using and understanding magic. Do I get any like vibes?
I would give you an, oh yeah, this looks something, something.
We
And then
need to get that out of here right now.
And then it
Yeah.
beats again, and it very subtle, but you see symbols kind of inside the liquid in the heart that fade away. They rise up and they fade away.
Just gonna wrap that real tight in my vest and like tie it in a little like bunch and stick it on the end of the stick and put it on my shoulder like a
hobo.
like I'm a hobo. Yep.
Okay.
Now, where are we going to take it though?
I don't know.
I don't want that anywhere near my hives.
It can go to my place. I have a lot of strange things there anyways.
Well, have I been? It's been a while.
It's gotten stranger.
Oh, wonderful.
There's been a lot of things to find in the woods lately.
Lots of hiding spots too, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're dragging this out, you realize there are a few pieces of wood right at the bottom, which look like they were under the heart, that look unbothered by the fire that was above. Not scorched, not burned. Just small pieces, though, and those, of course, are usually the ones that burn the fastest and most.
Okay, I'm not drunk, so that's supposed to be burnt, right? 'Cause that's like right in the middle of where the fire was.
Yeah, that should have been the hottest spot for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, you know better than me. You do the blacksmith around these parts too, but
Yeah, I mean, it should all be at least sooty, if not fully gone.
is that normal wood? I am
Oh.
trying to take a peek and see if there's anything different. Does it just look like plain old wood?
The side that has bark, the only tree you can think of that looks anything like that is the bleeding tree.
Oh,
That's not good.
taking you know what that's from, right?
Yeah, and that's not good. Didn't you? There are very few places you know that I will not fully explore and mess with. That dang bleeding tree is one of them.
You and me both. My bees won't go near half mile within that.
I only went near it once. I ain't going near it again.
But you remember who was out there?
Mm-hmm.
Miss
Bill,
Crandall?
weren't you dancing with her at some point last night?
Well, I tried to ask her about some of that stuff. She dismissed that real quick, and she was a little sauced herself.
I mean, it seemed a little suspicious if you saw her do something with that tree, and then some of that tree's in this fire, and she's gonna like gesture with this stick. Should we maybe take that wood too?
I really hate to even get near that thing.
I'm gonna like undo the vest just enough to scoop up the wood pieces and redo it and put it back on the stick.
Oh, what do you think? Should we take? I don't know if I want to go talk to Crandall. She clearly don't want to talk about it.
I mean, we can. I think, as someone who is clearly terrible at talking to people, that sometimes saying less is more and making them think you know what you know, and that they don't know what you know, but you know more than you know, kind of deal, often leads to knowing more. If that makes sense.
I think you just talked yourself, myself, and my bees in a circle.
I think I taught myself in a circle too.
And while you're talking, a woman comes over toward you with like a newsboy hat and a piece of paper and a pen. Excuse me, can I talk to you for a moment? Ash Swindell from New York Times. I'm doing an article on how prohibition is going to affect small town America, and I'd love to ask you a few questions about, well, and she looks around at all the people asleep and drunk all over the place. What happened last night? And
I mean, we're celebrating the last little vestiges of the drink we're allowed to imbibe while we can imbibe. Actually, you should talk to Mr. Gwyn right here. He's gonna be very, and I'm like using him to push forward a me Hummer Simpson.
Mr. Gwennon,
get out of here.
Can I get a first name, Mr. Gwennon, for the article?
My name is Walt.
Walt Gwennon. All right. So, how do you think prohibition is going to affect like the small town you live in? Do you live here, by the way? Just to clarify.
You talk real fast. Now, hold on. Let's just slow down a little bit. What was your name again?
My name is Ash Swindell.
Ashley.
Ashley. Just people call me Ash.
Miss Swindell.
Yes.
How did you know about Guilty Hole in the first place?
Well, I didn't know about Guilty Hole. I've just been following the train and stopping wherever it stopped and trying to get stories and articles on, small town USA is from what I can tell, is going to suffer quite a bit from prohibition. And I'm trying to kind of get the story for, the wider United States.
Now, I don't mean to pry, but do you have any amount of bias for or against prohibition?
I'm a newspaper reporter. I, of course, have no bias.
Off the record, of course.
Off the record, I like to have a drink every now and then. So I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to go into too much.
Well, listen, Miss Swindle, I'm a mead maker, and prohibition is it's going to hurt sales. My family's been making mead for generations, and the fact that America has just decided that alcohol is not good for anybody, it ain't right.
I have to admit, you are the first mead maker I have met on this entire journey. I have met people making whiskey and moonshine of various kinds, beer. You were my first mead maker, so that I find very interesting all by itself.
Now listen, I don't have a whole lot of mind talking to you, Miss Swindle, but I don't want my name used, all right? I like to keep my life real quiet.
All right, and she takes a note of that. So what would a mead maker be able to do if they can't sell mead? I assume honey is still an option, but is there enough money in selling honey to make a living?
You hit it right there on the nose. There's more money to be made making mead. Honey only goes for so much. Mead, on the other hand, it's pretty costly. I mean, well, it makes me a pretty penny. I live comfortably, but between that and beeswax and other, honey and bee-related products, I think it's not going to be easy once prohibition hits here.
And Tegan, you feel that thing in the sack you're carrying kind of beat, and then you see this woman's eyes glaze over, and her eyes kind of roll into her head and she starts writing a note, and you can see the note just turns into scribble. Where am I again?
I'm just gonna start hitting Walter on the arm like we should get out of here. We should get out of here.
Yeah, Miss Swindle, you were just asking for directions over to TJ's tap room. Yeah, it's right there on the left.
Oh, was I? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, here, let me write it down for you. And
all right.
I end up actually ripping off that top page that she was just scribbling on and make some something that looks like directions for her.
All right.
Yeah, here you go.
All right. And she stumbles to the side and she looks at the directions and she looks at it like really close and sort of stares at it for a long time and then looks at the sign in front of her for TJ and then looks again. That's it right there.
Yep, you got it.
And she stumbles forward up onto the deck and kind of leans on the post and then walks on in. Thank y'all. She doesn't look back. She just waves like thank y'all and kind of walks in and disappears into the dark of the tap room.
I yell, TJ, you got a live one. And then I'll talk at you later. And then I take a look at that note that she had just scribbled out. It
was what you had said. She even said to not use your name, keep you anonymous. She did not scratch out the name or anything, but she had Walt Gwinnen, Guilty Hole, West Virginia, Mead Maker, like all the notes of what you talked about. She actually took. Actually, some of it is in shorthand. You may not be able to read some of that.
What about the scribbles at the weird heartbeat thing?
After that happened, it looked like she tried to write something and it just sort of went down the page like a nothing.
Oh.
And actually, when she went up though into the tap room, you did notice that in her back, she had a small pistol, like a self-defense pistol.
Miss Swindle's loaded.
Respect. Okay, we gotta get.
All right, yeah, let's get out of here. I don't know where in the hell we're gonna take this though.
I'm taking it to my place because it's far enough out of town. I ain't gonna do the woo 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 to anybody else.
All right, well, Liz, I'm gonna come with you. You don't need to be doing that on your own.
Well, that's nice. I do a lot of things on my own.
Back in the church, Professor Hayes, you see the little girl kind of stand up. I'm gonna go find a bed or something. Can you let Father Bartamius know? God darn it, I can't get it right.
Yeah, the
I'm
beds
really
are
tired.
just over that way. I'll look for him. He's been gone a bit.
He can find me in there. I'm gonna go sleep. And she stumbles like she's drunk over past the door and out, and heads into the room with the beds, and just sort of splays out on an empty one.
He looks partly shocked, partly concerned. I'll get up and head in the direction Bartamius went.
All right, Bartamius, you are outside. You find your way outside, and at the cemetery there is Adeline. She is talking to the caretaker, going over some instructions and things need to be done, weeding and whatnot. And she turns around. Oh, Father Bartamius, right? Bartimaeus. Thank you. I'm so glad to see you finally made it. We've been. I can't tell you how long we've been waiting. And she puts her hand out to shake.
I take her hand. It's a pleasure. Unfortunately, it takes time to verify things to the point of someone like myself being sent. So, the unfortunate good news in this instance is the church has deemed it label enough signs of demons and other forms of demonic entities where they have decided to dispatch me from St. Louis to here.
Well, I will say I do think that in the 2 years leading up to your arrival, I think the problem has mostly been is resolved the right word? Resolved.
These things
has
don't
mostly
tend
gone
to,
away.
They don't tend to go away. They tend to rest, is I think a fair term for it.
We had an incident that we call the Howling, and you saw in my letter to you describing what transpired as best as I know.
Would it be possible for me to look at some of these locations around town that you've mentioned in your letters and from other bits of information that we were able to gather through?
Of course.
Individuals who've come through over the past time. I also have some interest in I believe you called it the old graveyard.
Yeah, the old cemetery is way out.
The old cemetery. Okay,
Yeah.
that is also going to be an important place. Do you know if that stone that was mentioned was still there? We had some people come and do their own.
Yeah, it's too large to do anything with. You'd have to tear that out with pickaxes and wheelbarrows. Ain't nobody wanting to do that. It's backbreaking work.
Well, let's see if that's something that's even going to need to be done. There is a chance that I will recommend that as an option.
All right.
Just depending on what my investigation finds for this.
Yeah, I mean that of course is up to the town council. Of course, you'd have to present an argument to them for that, since it is apparently part of history, not a part I knew anything about till 2 years ago. So I'd be glad to see it all.
The location of the Babel revival. Where was that exactly in town when these events happened?
Right in the center of the town, right where the stupid revival is right now.
Fair enough.
They got a new father though. New pastor, not father, new pastor. Same son of bitch kind of person though.
No. There's anyone who tries to make that kind of money off of the name of the Lord have their own punishments coming to them in due time.
You know, that's the second tiger they got. The first one is still wandering the woods out here somewhere.
I'll have to make sure to be careful in my wanderings then.
Yeah.
Has anyone been harmed by the
Not
loose
around
tiger?
here. We don't know where it went. I mean, it may have traveled over the mountains and gone somewhere else, but we have not heard word anywhere else that anybody's been killed or anything yet.
Well, one of the things with caged tigers is they don't always do well, especially not in a landscape that's not actually meant for them. So there's a chance that it might have, unfortunately, it might have in the past 2 years passed.
Let's hope.
Yes.
Did you get some breakfast?
No, I haven't had the opportunity yet. I wanted to meet with you first before going in and
All right.
breaking my fast. I do have a couple of questions just in regards to some of the things that were stated that being seen, just to kind of help me narrow down exactly what it is you were dealing with. It seemed that everybody who gave a description of what was in the center of the Babel revival.
Yeah, we don't.
I get a
speak of
different.
that.
I get different descriptions from different people. Do you know anyone who was there firsthand when it happened?
I do. I can give
Yeah.
you the names of the people that survived the incident,
I would appreciate that.
and I will say some of them are
Changed.
incoherent in their language and conversational abilities. It is definitely
That
changed
is not
them.
uncommon. That is not uncommon. Perhaps I can help render them some assistance through this also this time. It's been known to happen on occasion. I can't make any promises, but with the Lord's blessing and with the proper agents and actions, we should be able to hopefully bring them back to some more former form of themselves.
Did you meet Dr. Hayes, by the way?
Yes, the very pleasant gentleman inside.
Yeah, he's from New York City. You know, he's a smart guy, smart man,
Well,
for sure.
I might have to request some of his assistance if he is otherwise available.
He has some interests that I find are similar to yours. Not
How so?
He's interested in the cemeteries, the things on the tombstones and whatnot, the words, languages. I think he's some kind of a language expert or something. I don't know.
A linguist. Okay.
Whatever.
Interesting.
I don't know. He talks like a philosopher sometimes, then sometimes he talks like he don't want to talk to you. So
He's from New York. They're
Hard to
known to
read.
be rude to a certain degree.
yeah. Well, I do have a bunch of people in there that need to get fed if I can get them out of the damn beds.
Well, I saw your dedication to barley corn, so quite the
That
quite
weren't
the
my
event.
dedication to barleycorn. Please
It
don't put that
wasn't
on
yours, but it was your town's.
me. Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know what to say about that. The only good thing is that it burned up. All that's left,
Yeah, I
everything that
do
remains
agree.
now is ash, so I'm good with that.
Fire can be a purifying thing, but it can also be a doorway at times.
Yeah, hopefully there's a doorway and it's closed. I mean,
I thank you so much for your time, Pastor. I do have a ward who is traveling with me.
oh,
So do keep an eye out for her. She is known for her curiosity.
well, you know, curiosity killed the cat.
Curiosity can also be a gift from the Lord if properly put in the right directions.
I'll just keep her so busy her hands do not have time to do mischief.
Oh no, nothing like that. I'm more giving this as a if you see her she's likely doing an errand for me. Please don't interrupt her.
Oh, all right. Is she inside? I'd like to meet her. And I'd like to know
At,
who we
at,
have here.
at the moment she is, knowing her, given the night that she had, and we traveled with the revival. She's likely still exhausted from the journey that we had to go through. I wouldn't be shocked if she had found a soft place to curl up for the moment.
She, of course, has a bed just like you do, and we will make accommodations. We always have a warm fire, and we got food. You know, three meals a day. They're not the meals of a wealthy person, but they are meals that will keep you upright.
Humble food fed the Lord. It can feed me just as easily.
All right. It was very nice meeting you. Let me take you in and get you fed. I've got other things to attend first thing. I will be free. I usually free up more in the late afternoon if you need something, but I will get that list together for you.
I do appreciate that.
All right. Really wonderful to have you. This town doesn't know how lucky they are.
Well, hopefully they don't ever fully learn just how lucky they are to have me.
And she leads you into the church, and Professor Hayes is. What are you doing? The girl is not there, by the way.
I'm on my way out, so I'll say, "Kid's in there," and point to the bed area where she went.
Professor, quick question for you, if I may.
By all means.
So the pastor was telling me that you have some interest in the old cemetery and some of the writings on the tombstones there.
Yep, that's right.
Would you mind terribly if, first things first, you are a professor of linguistics. If I might ask, what is your area of study, particularly within that?
Ancient and new, ancient languages, in fact. Especially those that are less commonly known, unknown dialects, things of that sort.
Fantastic. Are we talking about Sub-Dialects of Sumerian with influences from the Etish region? Where are we talking about?
That's...
I'm seeing if he's a bullshitter.
No, he knows exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no bullshit.
Okay, perfect. Would you mind terribly if I asked upon your own opinion as a professional within this field as to some of the things that we might find there?
You're going to the cemetery?
My plan is to do so. The events 2 years ago that brought me here, from my understanding, that's where they begun. And I think that is a fitting place for me to begin my own investigations.
Well, that's right up my alley. I will go. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
I appreciate that. And of course, the church does believe in paying for services that are rendered in these sort of incidences. So we can talk about that more once we find some information to go off of.
Yeah, maybe while we're walking there, we could talk basic funding. Professors, I'm an expert in my field.
We'll talk.
8 years I spent in school,
Fantastic. That's why you have your doctorate.
That's right. All right.
I can take care of the girl. I see she is going to require no taking care of today unless she throws up. I'll put a bucket by the bed.
Please do. I appreciate that immensely. If she does wake up, water and
you boys have fun linguisticking or whatever you would be doing today.
Have you been to the cemetery yet?
Not. I just heard about it last night.
You've been to.
In fact,
to the church cemeteries, but not the old cemetery. No one's shown you where that one is yet.
Pastor Rose, where might we actually locate this cemetery, or do you have someone who could guide us there by chance?
You can go into town. You can almost, you know what? Ask old Gus. Actually, I don't want to say that. He may not be alive. Let me think about that.
Let's see how that ends.
Yeah, let's see how that ends before I say that. Well, she knows where everything is. She could definitely give you guidance, although she is not a very good walker. You know what? The sheriff can show you. She's useless for everything else, but she knows where everything is.
Fantastic. That'll work.
All right.
Ah, Professor, let us talk and walk.
As you guys are talking about linguistic gang, you get to town and you see Professor Hayes. You see Tegan and Gwynin standing over by the burned effigy, and they have like this puzzled look on their face, and they're Tegan kind of looks like a hobo right now with a rag with a stick over her shoulder and all that.
Hey, Tegan, you moving?
Just on my way back from a little let's say an adventurous night. We should still hitting Walter. We should probably scatter as it were.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, morning, Professor. Yeah, we were just on our way back to Tegan's for some project work.
Oh, well, let me introduce someone to you. This is Father Bart. Can we call you Bart?
I would prefer Bartimaeus.
Really? But Barty sounds like a really good, because he's dark.
And so this very somber priest just looks at you. I'm quite certain you're capable of pronouncing Bartimaeus.
Maybe, but it's real long. And I can tell you I might not remember it after last night.
Don't worry, I'm good at reminding people.
All right, then. But yeah, Doc, you should bring by Bartimaeus.
Closer than most people who live on these godforsaken mountains. Closer than most people.
Once you guys get done doing, what are you doing?
We're gonna go to the
Actually,
cemetery.
Actually, that's a great question. We're actually in the process of looking for a guide to the old cemetery at the moment. Would either of you happen to know the way?
Both of you know where it is.
Is it on the way to where we're heading to get? No,
it's the opposite way.
I could surely point you in the direction, but I'm a little bit indisposed at the moment. Also, Father Bartimaeus, was it?
Yes,
Walter.
correct. A pleasure, Walter.
Yeah, I mean, it's not real hard to miss. I mean,
in the winter, it's pretty clear. The grasses aren't growing so high. In the spring, it's hard to see it because the grasses just cover everything.
Yeah, if you don't mind why you go on there, it seems a bit like a fool way to go to the old cemetery.
Because I was brought here to deal with the incident that happened 2 years ago, and then the aftermath of it happening because of that.
You know, there was something called locally called the Howling, and there were a lot of people died in a revival tent to. Some people say it was a demon or something, but that's all rumor and hearsay. But there were a lot of people died from it, and the teenagers at the time were playing with getting possessed by ghosts, by haints, so they could talk to the dead, and it kind of went south on them.
Oh, you talking about the booger dance? Yeah, we can do that. We can point you in the direction.
Not heard that term before.
Me either, and I love
it's in the thing. It says a ghost.
The local dialect.
It is. It is a descriptive one. But no. So, are you okay, my child?
I mean, I'm still maybe a little drunk. I mean, I know people here tell how strong Walter's maid can be, but ain't do nothing but like trying it yourself.
Did she give you a present? Is that what you got on your shoulder there? A parting gift?
Tegan blushes like slowly from the bottom up.
The meter's going up.
Yep. I'm afraid I can't discuss that. It might come fluttered, Miss Love, and I would hate to put her in that kind of situation. But let's show her the tickets so we can get.
I get it.
Well, it's nice to see that some people seem to enjoy this pagan ritual you all had for the burning of the corn man.
That was a lot of words I don't entirely know for sure.
And Ash Swindell comes stumbling out. TJ ain't in here. There's some new people. Can I ask y'all some questions? I'm a writer for the New York Times. I want to get asked questions of small town America about
Unfortunately,
prohibition.
Unfortunately, I'm the wrong individual to ask for a small town point of view.
Oh, all right. And she kind of stumbles off the deck. What about you? You look local. And she points at you, Professor Hayes. And her hand kind of like waves in the air, and she kind of almost falls asleep while she's standing there. Oh my God, I don't even know what I drank.
Well, whatever it was a lot of it. Might I recommend sitting down before you fall down?
You
Get her to a granny woman, cause she ain't.
Ugh!
Right.
no.
She
Oh,
throws up on in the floor.
step back.
This is my only outfit, so be careful.
And when she throws up, there is definitely the normal ejection, but there are also a couple of frogs. little
Father Bite?
peepers,
That's not
Father
normal.
Bite.
and
Back
they
to Walter.
hop away.
Uh,
And then she throws up again because she saw the frogs in her throw up.
is there more frog?
No, they're little tiny peepers, little tiny frogs.
Is there more frogs when she throws up
The second time, there are not.
Okay. That's not supposed to be happening. You see him reach around, pull out again that cedar box, flip it open. You see him grab one of the small vials. I know. Just relax. And
I don't feel good. I think I'm sick.
I believe
I'd
you
say.
are too.
Do you remember what you drank?
Could I
last
do an insight check on Tegan, by the way? Do an insight roll against Tegan, by the way? Because I have an ability to insight is actually one of the things I'm trained in.
It's
not a check. I know that, but
yeah,
one of the things,
she is trying to hide something that, yeah, I'll give you a roll. It'd be a hard roll. There's a lot of things occupying your mind at the moment too. Sure,
natural 20.
a nat 20 will do it. Definitely, there's something. She eyes back and forth with Walter a couple times, one too many times, and there's definitely an attempt to get out of here and go somewhere.
Miss Tegan.
Almost like there's a third wheel. It's almost like they're trying to get messages to Dr. Hayes with like blinking eye kind of stuff, and none of that was working.
Miss Tegan. Miss Tegan.
You could just
I'm
call me
Miss
Tegan.
Swindell. I'm not Miss Tegan.
Oh no, I know
I'm a
who
reporter
you
for the
are.
New York Times.
Yes, you are, and you're about to go to sleep.
and she's barfing. She's
Leaves
barfing
her-
frogs, Father Bart. I think you
Leaves
need to
her
help
over.
her.
Leaves her over. I am.
She sits down, lays down.
There you go. Now, in that case, Tegan,
Yeah.
why is this woman puking up frogs?
I honestly have No idea.
What's in this? Then why are you trying to leave with the stick in your back? That's
Because my unmentionables are in there. I don't know if you picked up on it or not, but I left this level fast now.
again detecting falsehoods.
Are you a good liar, Tegan?
No.
I assume I'm not, considering I am.
Yeah, you go
I have an
red-faced at
inability for
everything.
positive social
Oh
interaction.
Yeah. I would say, given a
know, it's
moment, you can kind of figure out that there's some.
You know that lying to an exorcist can damn you to hell, Tegan.
I would go to there anyways, but honestly, it's probably county business and not stranger business.
The stranger was brought in to deal with demons and things like this.
Well,
I
I'm almost at it.
Father, I'll have you know, she was necking with Miss Love.
Full red again. Full red
Just
again.
lets it right out there.
It
Couldn't be her.
I
You
don't
barking
give a
up the
damn
wrong
if she-
tree here, pal.
I don't give a damn if she had Miss Love bent over her knee and giving her a spanking the entire time.
Even redder.
I don't give a. I quite honestly, I don't care. That's not what I'm here for. Because pointing towards the frogs, if you have any inkling what could be causing that to happen,
I can honestly say I don't know what would cause someone to throw up frogs.
bump bump.
Maybe she ate him. Ever think of that?
Yes,
No.
someone eat tadpoles and come out frogs?
That's
Did
not how that
someone
would
put
work.
tadpoles in
I
the
think I read
alcohol?
about that once. I think you're right.
It's not how that would work.
Did someone do
It's-
that last? I mean, that would be a great prank if that's what you could do, is put tadpoles in the.
No, I
Alright,
think
no.
that's
little
tequila.
container, right? And then they
That's
eat the container.
tequila.
Oh yeah, that's why we don't drink
You
that
put
here.
worms. You put worms in tequila, not tadpoles.
That seems even worse. Why would you put a worm in alcohol?
So, should we get some kind of doctor? Is there even a doctor in this town?
There's not, but there's a granny woman. Probably the closest thing you're gonna get to a doctor out here. Well, except for you, Doc, but we know you're not that kind of Doc.
The dancer? Dancing woman from last night?
Well, Gazzy is definitely someone who helps when you're sick. That is one of the two that really help out a lot. The other is Auntie Pavati.
Probably around here, past out somewhere.
Yeah, I think Gazzy might be able to help her out.
Oh,
That seems like some granny magic woo-woo.
What? Magic? There's no magic here, I'm sure. There's
Oh,
nothing to worry about.
you definitely a stranger.
I disagree wholeheartedly with that statement, Professor. There are many things afoul in Guilty Hall.
Well,
Pay him no mind. He's also a stranger.
When you lay down, when you helped Ashley lay down, you realize there was a gun in a holster on her back, and a small pistol, kind of thing someone who travels would use for protection.
Yeah. I go ahead and just take it, make sure it's not loaded, or if it's loaded, make sure that the safety's on. Just so she doesn't roll over and hurt herself.
It is
with
loaded.
Make sure that the safety's on and put it back.
All right. The safety was on though.
Okay.
One thing you notice, that gun is in really fine shape. She takes care of her weapon.
journalist comes into town and starts throwing up frogs, and she's carrying heat. I'm no dick, but that's mighty suspicious.
Sounds like a headline if I ever heard one.
She's her own headline. Look at that. Already a great news lady.
I mean, there is a known tiger to be prowling in these woods somewhere. So,
Wait,
Oh,
what?
Sorry.
Freddy's fine.
What?
Freddy's fine. Freddy's fine.
What was that about a tiger?
Yeah, someone got let out that night.
Mm-hmm. He got out in the night of the howling.
Oh.
Oh.
It's never been seen since, but there have been, I mean, animals killed, you assume were killed by painters, but maybe it was a tiger.
Yeah.
Hard to
Maybe
know.
the tiger got together with the painter. Who knows? These woods are weird.
Yes, they are.
Something's up.
I guess how young is Miss Swindell?
She looks to be in her 20s, mid to late 20s.
I feel as though Walter would have a bit of a, as much as he wants to get away, he has a bit of a fatherly instinct kick in. Now, listen, folks, we should probably get this young lady over to Granny or Gazzy. Why don't we take her over to Gazzy?
Yeah, if we can't find her, we can at least maybe grab some simples from the general store. Maybe settle whatever's going on here.
Something.
Gazzy lives down the road. You have to cross the bridge over the Tenpole Creek, not the one that you have to pay to cross. That goes into another state. And down that road, it's about an hour walk, but you could do it, carrying her.
Is that in the same direction as the cemetery that Father Bartimaeus and the professor are looking for?
It is not, although it is on the. They're both on the east side of the creek. Just it's a little further north, and the cemetery is further south.
Mm-hmm.
Well, gentlemen, if it
Actually, you
you're
know what?
welcome
With
to accompany us.
the creek is not frozen right now. You have to take the bridge over there to get to both the cemetery and Gazzy's.
Oh,
So
okay.
it actually is in the same way right now.
Well, gentlemen, the creek's still guzzling down. We'll have to take the bridge to get over to Gazzy's, and you'll have to take the bridge to get over to the cemetery. So why don't we walk Miss Swindle over there, kind of together-ish, and then part ways after the bridge. We can take her from there.
Fair enough.
I think that's the right thing to do.